Everybody, how you doing? Tino here. I know it's been taking me a long time to put this video out, but I got a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna do that today. This is a continuation from my How I Met Mrs. Mexican Samurai. Let's see. Minako and I are kind of seeing each other at this point. She broke up with dude, and she's about to be discharged from the hospital. So I go to pick her up. And on the day of her release, I go upstairs to retrieve her, got her bags in hand, we go downstairs, we're getting ready to exit the front entrance. The Jeep is in the pickup zone, okay, so we can exit the front, you know, and get in the car and go, right? But as we exit, there's this black car parked in front of my Jeep. I'm like, who in the hell is this, right? Minako looks at me and she says, uh-oh. I'm like, well, what do you mean, uh-oh? And she says, that is my ex. I'm like, oh shit. Dude came all the way down to the hospital, right? And I was like, well, what's he about to do? Well, it looks like he's getting out the car. So he gets out the car and he comes around the front to the hood, right? He's at the bottom of the steps. He looks at Minako and he says, are you gonna go home with him or are you gonna come home with me? Without skipping a beat, Minako just says, hey, I'm going home with him. And I was like, dude gets back in the car, drives off, does a U-turn, comes back around, points his finger at Minako and says, I'm gonna tell your mother. And I was like, I'm gonna tell your mother? What are we in junior high school? Well, what the hell was that? And she says, I don't know. It was funny to me, and then he just drove up. So we get in the Jeep and I take her home. And she doesn't live too far away from the hospital, which is good. And as we were approaching her street, we're about 30 yards away from the house, right? And she tells me to stop the car. I'm like, well, what, did you forget something or what? What do you want me to stop the car for? She says, let me out right here. I'm like, what do you mean let you out right here? Let me out right here. I need to walk home. I said, what do you need? What do you mean you need to walk home? I got your bags in the back. And how are you going to walk home? She says, no, I can manage. Let me walk home from here. I said, no, I was going to take you to the front door and maybe meet your parents or whatever, right? She says, oh, no. I just broke up with my boyfriend. I can't bring a man home so soon. You know, I can't do that right now. So just let me walk home by myself. I'm like, okay. Get her bags out. She walks home. Okay, now, she and I were exclusive now. We're dating. And let's see. She lives about a 45, maybe 50-minute ride from her house to work. She works in the city. I live in the other direction, okay, and I'm another maybe 30-40 minutes away from her home, right? So we did dinner and stuff near her house in that area there, and sometimes she would, you know, come over to my place and kick it, right? But the thing with that is, see, she would leave at like maybe 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I really didn't like that because she had to drive all the way back home, right? So what we decided to do was rent an apartment near her home. So she and I rented an apartment near her home, and we would just meet there, and she would go home and I would just go back to my place. Now the reason why we didn't move in with each other is because she wasn't leaving home. There was no way that she was going to leave home, and her parents would not let her leave anyway. I know she's in her mid-30s, and her parents still do not want her to leave home until she gets married. So she's still living at home. So she and I, we rent this apartment. We meet each other at the apartment. She would go home, and then I would go back to my place, right? So we're dating, and it's really, really cool. Dating Minako is really, really fun. You know, we did everything together. But at the same time, she still had her close-knit group of friends, you know. She hung out with a lot of friends that she had from work, and they did a lot of things together. They used to travel a lot as well. They took trips to Italy, Australia, New Zealand, and stuff like that. And of course we took trips together as well. But she spent a lot of time with her friends. She really did, which was really good because like I said, I had just started my school and I was dedicating a lot of the time that I needed to do a lot of things at school at that time. So it was good that she had friends that she could hang out with during the week and sometimes on the weekend as well. You know, it was really, really fun being with her, and it was, it wasn't as stressful as a lot of relationships are, because we really didn't know if we were going to get really serious, you know, because she had just gotten out of a really serious relationship. I didn't know this at the time, but she was engaged to dude, and she had been seeing him for a long time. They'd been dating for like 5 years or something like that. And she was telling me that, you know, this was her idea of what a relationship was supposed to be. I mean, with dude, he would come and they would see each other sometimes on the week, and they're both, you know, very, very engulfed into their careers. They're dedicated to the career, so they, you know, they spent a lot of time working. And when they did see each other, she would wash his clothes, clean his apartment, and then he would go off fishing with his friends and what have you. So he spent a lot of time with his friends, while Minako, she basically just cleaned his apartment and washed his clothes on the weekends. That was kind of lame. But see, in her mind, this is what a relationship was supposed to be, and it wasn't too different from what marriage was supposed to be. So she was not ready to get into a full-blown serious relationship, and neither was I, because, you know, I got 2 kids, and I'm very, very still involved with Christine and Christian's mother, and she and I, even to this day, we have a very, very close relationship. We talk all the time. Of course, I mean, we got kids together, you know. So I wasn't looking to get into a serious relationship at all. Not whatsoever. So dating Minako was really, really fun. It really was. It wasn't stressful at all, and I didn't have to worry about her, you know, getting really, really serious on me, you know. But we're dating now for about 2 years, and I still haven't met her parents. She still hadn't introduced me to her parents, and that was kind of weird. I would ask her, you know, when am I going to meet your parents and this and that, and she was like, no, let's just wait about that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, she had her reasons. Okay, when did I know Minako was the one? That's a good question. Okay, we're dating now for about 2 years, and she and I are so well connected together. I mean, they have this expression in Japan, it's called Ishin Denshin. Okay, which basically means telepathy between two people, right? And I mean, I would be at work, and I'd come home, and she'd have a particular dish prepared that I was thinking about eating that day, you know, or I just feel that she would needed to talk to me, and I would just give her a call at work and ask her, you know, how she is, and you know, lo and behold, she would, you know, she just got into maybe a scuffle with one of her bosses, or, you know, maybe she got yelled at or something, and she just wasn't having a good day, and my telephone call was always on time, you know. So we were always connected that way. So at that particular time, I really, truly felt that, you know, hey, you know what, I could probably spend the rest of my life with this girl right here. Okay, now, Minako, like I said, she liked to take trips with her friends, and on this particular autumn, she took a trip to New Zealand. No, it was Australia. Yeah, she took a trip to Australia with her friends, and when she came back, she said, I have something to talk to you about. And I was like, okay, what? She says, I want a baby. I was like, you want a baby? I mean, I thought that, you know, you were really into your career and you liked your freedom and this and that. I thought that you said that you weren't really looking to have children. I said, and she says, yeah, I know I said that, but you know, recently I've been really wanting to have a baby, so I think that you and I should get married. And I was like, okay, sounds good. All right, well, yeah, well, let's do this then. Okay. That's how it was. I'm sorry, folks. It wasn't no, you know, on my knee, roses in hand type of proposal. It wasn't like that. I mean, she basically proposed to me, you know. And she said that she wanted to start a family, and I said, okay, I'm down with it, you know. And like I said, you know, she at that particular time, and I still think so, she is the perfect woman for me, you know. And we went ahead and we started to make preparations for our wedding. And I had told her that I did the church in front of the pastor wedding before, and I really wasn't looking forward to doing it again. But if that's what she wanted to do, you know, I was willing to go ahead with it. And she said, no, that's okay. All we have to do is, I just want to take pictures. Take wedding pictures, you know, and the money that we would spend on a very big wedding, let's just save it for the honeymoon. Shit, that sounds good to me, you know. So we had a really nice party. We invited a lot of our friends over, and we just had a party, something really, really nice. And that was it. That was our wedding ceremony. Okay, family, now we are getting ready to start our family. Okay, so Minako is the type of person, whenever she puts a plan in motion, she doesn't stop until she reaches her goal. Okay, so now we are waiting for her to start ovulating. And when she did start, she was fertile for like 3 days, right? And that was a trippy 3 days, I tell you. Now, we were sexually active, and we were, you know, we were very, very, we were sexually active. But anyway, when she started ovulating, family, she took 2 days off of work, okay? And then, I mean, we'd make love in the evening, okay, at night, and she'd wake me up before she'd have to go to work on that on the first day that she started ovulating. Before she went to work, she woke me up and she says, "Get up." And when I say get up, I mean get up. And then so she did her thing, and then after Pop goes the wheel, and then she got up and she went to work. And she had me on call, family. And there was a secret word that we still use today. And she would call me and she would just say one word, pudding. And what that meant was I had to take my ass home and meet her at the apartment. We do our business, and then we can just go back to whatever we were doing. So she took 2 days off. So for those 3 days, I mean, we were, and I was dry. I mean, there was nothing else coming out. And she made that she drained every last bit of me. And she said, make sure you drink a lot of water. So family planning with Minako was, it was pretty intense. It was. But I hit my mark, you know, and she became pregnant. Okay, so now it's time to meet the family. Now it's okay. It took me 3 years to meet her parents, family. 3 years. So now it's okay for me to meet her parents. But before we set up the meeting, what she did was she went ahead and she told her mother and father that she wants to introduce her new boyfriend to her family, right? And then she says, oh, and by the way, I'm pregnant. So they were like, oh, hell no. Bring his ass to the house tonight. So she calls me up and she says, what time do you finish work tonight? I said, well, I finish at 9. And she says, well, you need to finish earlier. I said, for what? And she says, well, you need to come to the house because my parents want to meet you. Oh, I was like, I thought we were going to do like a dinner thing on the weekend, you know, kind of make it formal type of thing. No. I told them that I'm pregnant, so they want to meet you tonight. I was like, oh, shit. Now, this is not how you're supposed to meet the parents, family. So I finished at 8 o'clock, finished up early. I went to the house, and now I understand why she didn't introduce me to her family sooner. Her father, check this out, family. Her father is a former kamikaze pilot. I shit you not, he, at the age of 16, he was a kamikaze pilot. Family, could you remember what you were doing at 16? I remember what I was doing at 16. This dude was flying airplanes, getting ready to attack the enemy, which was us, okay, in his plane full of bombs. That was his job. This dude was a kamikaze pilot. And I know what you're thinking. I thought kamikaze pilots were suicide pilots. I thought they were all dead. No. He had mechanical failure on the day of his mission. He took off, but he had to come back. Okay, so that saved him, because after that, the war was over. So he was, he was lucky. Well, in my eyes, he was lucky. I don't think he feels he's lucky, but we don't talk about that much. We don't talk about those days. But he is a really, really cool dude. I mean, he's a walking history book. I mean, how many kids on my block can say that their father-in-law is a kamikaze pilot? Dude, I was a cool cat. I tell you, when I told everybody back home that my father-in-law was a kamikaze pilot, they were like, dang. So the conversations that he and we have are very, very interesting, very informative, but I tried to stay away from the topic of when he was a kid in the war, right? But sometimes when he gets drunk, he'll tell me a lot of things. But he had a really, really good relationship with the American military, because he worked side by side with them after the war. And after his career in the military, he went on to become a commercial pilot for a very, very famous airline here. I mean, could you imagine what the interview for that was? Yes. What was your previous employment? What did you do before? I was a kamikaze pilot. Okay, you're hired. Very good. Damn. I wouldn't be hiring no kamikaze pilot. But anyway, so he's working for this major airlines, and he retired. As a matter of fact, last month he was honored here in town recently, because he's like what? One of 3 remaining former kamikaze pilots who still flies. He teaches young pilots how to fly Cessna airplanes. Even now, he teaches on Sunday afternoons. He's been trying to get me to go up in the plane with him, but nah, I'm not having that, because he's like 80-something years old, and nah, he could go any minute. I don't want him to go while I'm sitting in the cockpit with him. I don't want to be trying to fly an airplane. I don't think I can do that. But yeah, meeting the family was cool. And then I took Minako home to meet my family, and my family loved her from day one, family. They did. Oh my goodness. I mean, her and my dad, they clicked automatically. One day, we went to the mall, and I had to go pick up a shirt that I ordered, so I left Minako and my father in the food court. And when I went to go pick the shirt up and I was coming back, I noticed that they weren't sitting in the spot that I left them in, right? So I look for them, and I see my dad and Minako, they're standing over there by Mickey D's, right, looking at people. And as I walk up on them, I can hear what they're talking about. My father's going, now see, that girl right there has a nice ass. And that girl right there, she has a big ass. And that girl right there, that's a big ass girl. And I was like, Dad, what are you doing? What you guys talking about? So Minako was saying that, I told your dad about how you talk about ass, and he's just, telling me more about how to look at women's butts. And I was like, oh my goodness, Dad. Like father, like son, huh? Well, family, here it is. What? 10 years later, and Minako and I are still as happy as ever, and we always will be. This story isn't over. I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk about international relationships. So make sure that you come back for that, okay? Thank you for watching. Sorry for the wait, and I love you guys. Dad, love you. Bye.